words in the third stanza, surely Shakespeare is wicked. Wicked is there is cunning and evil. Map a bad example. So both these clearly don't fit into this classroom, which is correct. Wicked also means cunning and evil. It's not really literally cunning and evil. Wicked there stands for being a complete misfit. And also a bad example because you are giving them an example that has no connection. Again, it's both about connection. With ships and sun and love tempting them to steal. Now, when you do this in Shakespeare, if you look at the stories, they're all about sun and ships and travels and voyages and love and all kinds of things. And what happens? You're putting in them desires of things that they don't have and things that they will never have. So how do I get it? I want it, I steal it. So that's how it goes. As I said, if you send chocolates instead of nutritious food, what you will create is a desire for chocolate, which they cannot get afterwards, and so they will steal it. That's what it says here. Ship, sun, love, all of these things are there in Shakespeare. For lives that slyly turn in cramped holes. So the houses are like cramped holes. It's like if I dig a hole and if I put you into it, it's like that. It's an exaggeration, actually. It's not really as small as that, but it's exaggerated as a cramped hole. From fog to endless night. So there is no hope. After the fog, it is endless night. That's how he has described their lives of poverty. See? On their slag heap, slag is all this debris. So if you go to a construction site, you will find all the cement and metal and all broken pieces lying there in a heap. I've shown you a slag heap in the picture there. See there? That's a slag heap. So you will find that on that, these children wear skins peeped through by bone. See how he has described how thin and how miserable their bodies are, right? Malnutrition, disease, suffering, hunger. So it's as if they are wearing their skins on top of their bones. That's what it is. Peeped through by bones. And spectacles. Some of them, if they are wearing spectacles, there it is. See, I've shown you a spectacle there. A steel rim, and then it is broken, and then it is patched up with sellotape. You'll find things like that in the slum. With mended glass. So the glass there also is thick. Some of them can't, again, like fog, the thick glass, the bottle bits, all of those show thickness, which means I can't see properly through them. When I can't see, what is it symbolic of? It's symbolic of not being able to get a view of a future that is clear. So it's beautiful. It's a symbolism that is loaded again and again and again to tell you how miserable it is. It's like being half blind. That's the feeling that you get. Sick, half blind, no hope. See the imagery. That's what I told you. It's very harsh imagery. All of their time and space are foggy slum. So blot their maps with slum as big as doom. So there he says, why are you giving them those maps? Why don't you just blot it? Why don't you just cancel those maps? And instead of the map, put there one big slum as big as doom. Similarly, as big as doom. Doom is everything is over, the world, end of the world, that kind of big one. Why don't you put a blot? So there's a lot of anger in the poet in this. See, you see a certain anger in this. All of their time and space is foggy slum. All their time is fog. All their space is fog. Everything is fog. There's a lot of anger. It's building up. So wicked, cunning, slyly is deviously, dishonestly, using trickery, cramped, confined, constrained. I've just given you extra words and synonyms so that you can learn better words, okay? Slag, metal debris from waste, wear skins painfully thin, spectacles broken, broken view of the world, opaque, nice word, opaque. Must have had it in science. And fragmented, symbolic, broken. Mended, patched up, band-aid, broken bits, smashed lives, blot, to mark roughly, to deface. When you blot something means you deface it. Suppose I take ink and throw it on the map, then I have destroyed it, defaced it. Doom is complete destruction or annihilation. So those are two words that you can learn. So this is what he says in stanza 3. If you look at the notes, claustrophobia, as I told you, they feel like they are imprisoned in space, time, future, everything is in a prison. It's closed in. Showing them a beautiful world not only underlines their scholar. So when I show you something beautiful, I'm telling you, see how you are living. I'm underlining it, which is cruel to do. Also creates a desire for the unreachable, and you may get to crime. Devices are metonymy. Shakespeare doesn't stand for just Shakespeare. He stands for all the higher learning that is there. He stands for, and the cramped hole stands for the slum houses. There is a figure of speech called a climax, where you go upwards from ship. Ship is of the earth, and then sun is much bigger, and then love is the biggest. So you're going up, 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 showing that. Rhetorical question is from fog to endless night. They don't expect you to answer that question, but that's a question that is asked. Time and space are foggy slum is metaphor. Repetition, fog and foggy have been repeated many times. Hyperbole and simile. Hyperbole is when you exaggerate. Slum as big as doom. Doom is so big. Tell me. And then you're talking about just putting something on blotting a map. So that's a hyperbole. And then you have time and space are foggy slum. Big thing like time, space, all fog. That's also a huge hyperbole. Simile like bottle bits. So the lenses are like bottle bits. Metaphor and symbol you'll find in spectacles. Worldview like window, opaque bottle bit. Echoes fogged view. So that foggy view is over and over and over again. In many images it is repeated. Alliteration, Shirley Shakespeare, from fog, bottle bits, by boom. So those are your devices. Now, if you go to stanza 4, it talks about, this is the last stanza, and he says, unless governor, inspector, visitor. Now, what he has done in 3 stanzas is he talked to you about all the problems. In the first stanza, he's talked to you about the children. In the second and third stanza, he's talked to you about their life in the slums and about the kind of education and the kind of donations that people are giving. He's talked to you about the mismatch of their lives. Okay. Now, in the last stanza, I think he is attempting a solution. What can we do? So he says, unless. So that word unless is very important. He says, unless you do this, nothing is going to happen. So that unless is like almost like a warning. Unless governor, inspector, governor stands for your government, or inspector stands for your administration, ministries, visitor can be anybody. Visitor to a school can be anyone, a parent, a outsider, or just general public. Unless from the top to the bottom, everybody does something. This map becomes their window and these windows. So this map becomes their window. And these windows that shut upon their lives. See, there are, you know why it's hard for you to understand is because there is no punctuation. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, and then there are words missing. It's a structural thing that you do when you want to tell people that in their lives also there are many small pieces that are missing, which we are not looking at. That's what it says. When structurally, when you take out some words. So unless governor, inspector, visitor do something which is not said, which is left, and then it says this map becomes their window. This map that you have given them becomes their window. That means they think this is what the world looks like. That means I am negating my map. I'm saying my world does not exist. That's what I'm doing. There's a huge disconnect. So there is, in my own psyche, there will be a split, a fragmentation of who am I? Who am I? My world does not exist. This is the world. So I should be looking like this city child, but I look something else. So who am I? So there is a certain loss of identity there, and which is very sad. So this map becomes their window. And these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. So the windows, these windows means always it is the window that is there in their classrooms. from which they look out and they see the dirty squalor outside. And these windows, what do these windows do? They are closing in on them, shut upon their lives like catacombs. The catacombs are, see, I've shown you here, they are burial grounds which are under the ground, where people used to bury the dead. You can see skeletons in a line, and they are under the ground, and you can actually walk. In many places there are catacombs, and you can walk through them and you can see the graves of these people. So there is a death metaphor there coming in, like catacombs, actually a simile. So the windows shut upon them. So almost like you're burying them alive under the earth. Catacombs. Those lives of theirs are shut. The windows shut on them like catacombs. And then finally he says, break, break. See, it should have been a full stop there, but it's a comma. It's again the disconnect. The structure is showing you the disconnection. Break, break, oh, break open. He says you have to break it. So unless governor inspector does something or breaks it, you can almost take that part and you can bring it here to break open. Till they break the town and show children to green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands and let their tongues run naked into books. So what should you do? You should break this whole thing, this system, and you should let the children see the green fields and the gold sands and the blue skies. Azure is blue, and let their tongues run naked into books. The white and green leaves open, history theirs. Respect their history and think of their worlds and how to make it better, whose language is the sun, a power symbol. See, he ends with a strong power symbol. Sun is always a symbol of light and power. So the notes you have there is, the devices are, he uses anticlimax. That was climax going upwards, up to love, ships, sun, love. And here now you have an anticlimax, governor, inspector, visitor, which is actually coming down. You have a synecdoche, where you say this map. So the map actually stands for the world of the privileged. When you say this map, their world, you're saying it's a map. The map stands for the world of the rich. Break the town is change the system. Metaphor is these windows. World of fog and slum that are buried in like catacombs. So it's like graves. Their whole life in that slum is like a grave. Underground graves. That is what it is. Symbol and simile like catacombs. Apostrophe, break or break. Metonymy, town for the whole system. So the town stands for the entire system. Break the town means they don't mean go and break the city and the shops. The town stands for the entire system. So that kind of figure of speech is called a metonymy. Metonymy is also tongue. Tongue is also used for the syllabus or method of education. That's what it is. Pun, metonymy, green leaves, book, tree, nature. It stands for the bigger this thing. When you say green, it stands for growth, it stands for nature, it stands for a huge concept. Symbol, the sun, empowerment, success, as I told you. Green color is the hope of hope and rejuvenation. Anaphora, run azure on sands, run naked into books. When you have the clauses repeating the same word, it's called anaphora. So these are your basic devices, but essentially in this, he's telling you that change must come. Children should be allowed to live in their contexts. Don't do a syllabus with them with Shakespeare and Tyrolese Valley and things like that. They have no connection to and they'll never connect with. See, don't try to do something for the sake of doing it, what we call tokenism. Tokenism means, bhai kuch karna hai, so let's just do it. That sort of thing don't do. Be sincere in what you do. That's what he says. So the themes in the poem, guys, are the themes of poverty, social justice, the world, slum, ghettos. It connotes all the poverty, all that I've written, congested, disease, etc. We talked about that. The theme of fogging is very big. Because as I said, vagueness, you can't see time, space, future. Everything is dull, dim, vague, not bright. The theme of irrelevant education. That's a very important theme. Elementary education can liberate. At the bottom, what should we do? We should make them strong. Instead of that, you are not doing anything there. You're just making them weak and you're making them want things which they will not be able to get, and you're showing them a world that is not theirs. So it's all wrong. Elementary education can liberate. Children are unkempt, bony, low esteem. Look at that whole thing, irrelevant education. Irrelevant means which doesn't suit them. The theme of social justice, inequality, class struggle. So that is also, I told you he is a communist, not a communist, he's a socialist and a pacifist. So all of those social justice themes are there, indifference of the rich people, the way they give their donations, the way they lack empathy, the governments don't care about them, they are insensitive. All of these are big themes for a socialist minded person. The theme of disconnection and dysfunction. Everything is disconnected. There says a dysfunctional lives means lives that are not smooth, lives that are not going in sync with the rest of the world. So there's a disconnection. Education for the city children has no resemblance to the reality of the slum. They're two different worlds, maps and windows. Theme of incarceration and prisons is there. So many themes, see, of prison. Constantly there is the imagery of prison, of being locked in the lead sky, the catacombs. Everything is about being buried. Consequences are going to be crime, anger, failure, bleak futures, burial of hopes and dreams. All of these will happen. And what are the solutions to this? A call to break the system and set the children free. When you say free, what do you mean? When you say green fields and when you say green and white leaves of books, what are you saying? You're basically saying give them a context, teach them within their context, make it bright and beautiful and natural. Their existence must have some value and worth. That's what we are saying. Empower them with freedom. Pictorial and structural devices, image and economy. So you have a lot of images of poverty, like we talked about all this. I've just given you the words so you can read them again. The structure of the poem, as I told you, is free verse. Suddenly stops in the middle, then enjambment, then it takes off. There are no proper commas and full stops. So it also reflects the dysfunctionality of the lives of the children. These are what we call structurally, it echoes the content of the poem. That's a brilliant way in which poets use poetry. You know, when you read this poem again, after I've explained so much to you, you'll find it powerful. So that's what he has done. Devices like Zugma, transferred epithets, used a lot of wonderful devices. The symbols of the map, that is the world, versus their narrow world of fog's bones. Shakespeare's head shows irony, bleakness of future. Symbols are also very strong symbols. Fog is another symbol. Juxtaposition of images, positive and images are juxtaposed to highlight negativity. So when he puts a positive image, it is not positive. It is actually showing you how black this is. So if you put white and black together, two things can happen. Either the black can show you how the white is so white, or it can spoil the whiteness. So there are two ways of doing. When you juxtapose, two things can happen. In this one, when he juxtaposes Shakespeare and the Tyrolese Valley and all, which are beautiful, the poverty of those children get underlined, becomes worse. So that's what it is. The economy of words, 4 stanzas, 279 words. The poet uses a lot of wonderful, so much he has packed into this poem. It's amazing. So you can read this poem again, read the notes again. I'll give you the translation of some of these words in the description box. And I'm telling you, you guys will do brilliantly with this rather difficult poem, okay? It's a difficult one. It's not an easy one. The last one, guys, is a link to our time. So it's a message of hope. White and green leaves, open history, theirs, whose language is the sun. So the final word is a word of hope. So teach their idiom, their language, their narrative, their life, their context. This is what, and I think that's what we should do with our children also. We don't do that. All our poor, our hamlets, our slums, our city children, all are doing one exam. Maybe we should think about it. We should take some lessons from Stephen Spender, who probably was born 100 years ago, isn't it? He's still relevant. Can we relate these to our own slums? Yes, go and look at our slums. It's exactly what he is describing. Go and look at slums anywhere in the world. That is what he's describing. So it's amazing. He speaks for us. The slum dwellers have several prisons, many prisons in their lives: poverty, hunger, disease, at a physical level, low self-esteem, survival mentality, and emotionally they're just tortured souls, and nobody to take care. So they have several prisons. They have several ways in which they can't break out of it. It's our responsibility to make sure that we do something. The system created by insensitive governments and privileged classes needs to be broken. That is what he's saying. Break, break, and reimagined and reinvented to empower these poor children. Otherwise, there is no hope in their lives. So they deserve to have freedom to be themselves, not to conform to the city dwellers, to run naked, to grow freely, and to be empowered spirits. Gold, azure, sun, lovely strong images. That's what he recommends. So if you read it again, guys, you'll love it. So I hope you, long one, but worth listening to. Listen to it several times, listen to it in parts, make notes, and I'm sure you'll do brilliantly with this one. Don't forget to subscribe, press the bell icon. Don't forget to buy the book Writing with Ease from our website or from Amazon. Until we meet again, keep smiling and all the best.